Have you ever witnessed a dynasty dance on the edge of collapse right before your eyes? That's precisely what's unfolding in Kansas City. All the glamour, all the rings, yet beneath the surface, structural fractures are emerging. And if they don't seal them swiftly, this entire kingdom could crumble. Stick with me until the end. This isn't just commentary, it's a warning. Smash that like button, drop a W if you still believe in the Chiefs, or an L if your faith has faded. Subscribe if you're riding with greatness. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. Buckle up, because what I'm about to say might sting. Everyone's been coasting on the high of the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty. Words like unbeatable, inevitable, and goated are thrown around like confetti. I get it's 3 Super Bowl victories in 5 years, a generational quarterback, a Hall of Fame coach, a relentless winning culture. But let me tell you something, the average fan isn't ready to hear every dynasty falls. And you know when the unraveling begins? Not during a heartbreaking loss, not when the MVP gets injured. No, it starts in the quiet moments of the offseason, when key moves go unmade, when the foundation starts cracking and no one wants to admit it. That's exactly where Kansas City is right now. This offseason, the Chiefs didn't just lose a few players, they watched core pillars of their identity walk away in free agency. On paper, it doesn't look catastrophic, but when your defensive front is already under pressure and you start hemorrhaging depth, leadership, and experience, and try patching it with untested rookies fresh out of college, that's not a rebuild, that's a red flag. You don't feel the damage in week 1, you feel it in January when playoff lights are glaring and your pass rush can't get home on 3rd and long, when opposing QBs have a full 5 seconds in the pocket because your edge guys can't break containment. Now, don't get it twisted, Omar Norman-Lott and Ashton Jolett have talent. They're explosive, eager, and athletic. But let's stop pretending 2 mid-round rookies are going to anchor a Super Bowl caliber D-line. That's not how it works in this league. You need veterans. You need battle-tested leadership. You need someone who stared down playoff pressure and delivered. Enter Von Miller. Look, he might not be the Vaughn of 2015, but the man still has fire in the tank. You think Buffalo paid him all that money on nostalgia? You think he forgot how to explode off the line and terrorize quarterbacks? Think again. Vaughn may not be your every down juggernaut, but he's the closer. 3rd and 6, 4th quarter, tied game, crowd roaring, boom, strip sack, drive killer, season changer. That's the Von Miller effect. He brings postseason pedigree, championship DNA. He's not a player, he's a problem. Now imagine Vaughn lined up with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones. That's not just wise. It's lethal. Karlaftis flashed real potential last season, high motor, killer instincts, but he's raw. He needs mentorship. Who better to mold him than a future Hall of Famer with rings in 2 cities? Put Vaughn in that locker room and suddenly your D-line isn't just learning schemes, they're absorbing legacy. Learning how to win when it matters. And Chris Jones, he's your cornerstone, a certified disruptor, the engine of that defense. But even he can't do it all alone. If you want to preserve his prime, you need to take some pressure off his shoulders, let him dominate the interior. Let Vaughn command attention on the edge. Let offenses struggle to decide who to double. Because right now, they're doubling Chris and daring the rest of the line to step up. Von Miller ends that game plan. Now, let's talk dollars. People love waving the cap space flag like it's immovable, but in today's NFL, cap is an illusion. Teams manipulate it like magicians shuffle cards. If Brett Veach and Andy Reid want Vaughn, they'll make the numbers work. The real question isn't can they afford him? It's can they afford not to? Because here's the truth. In this league, tomorrow isn't guaranteed. You don't plan for 2026 when you've got a Hall of Fame coach, a transcendent QB, and a Super Bowl window that's still wide open. You build for now. And Chiefs fans, you've been spoiled. Yeah, I said it. You've got a quarterback who rewrites physics, a tight end who ages like vintage scotch, and a coach who calls plays like he's in a different dimension. But that doesn't mean you're invincible. Even dynasties can bleed, and unless Kansas City makes the right moves right now, this empire might not be as eternal as you think. Don't let comfort lull you into thinking that talent at the top is enough to win championships. Football isn't won with flash, it's won in the margins, in the trenches, in the unforgiving grind. And right now, this Chiefs defensive line is missing a crucial element. Bringing in Von Miller isn't just a roster move. It's a power statement. It's the difference between a playoff team and a football dynasty. Take a look around the AFC. Joe Burrow isn't fading. Josh Allen is furious and fueled. Lamar Jackson is locked in with something to prove. And the young assassins? C.J. Stroud is sending, Trevor Lawrence is maturing, and Justin Herbert is still slinging lasers. You think they're going to hand Kansas City a three-peat on a silver platter? Wake up! This conference is a battlefield, and battles aren't won with hope. They're won with arsenals, not aspirations. Let's circle back to the draft. Yes, it's great to add rookies with upside, but potential doesn't win Super Bowls. Execution does. I like what Norman Lott brings. He's got burst, hustle, and twitch. Gillard's got that Miami edge, that alpha mindset. But let's not kid ourselves. We've seen this film before. Rookies need time. Time to develop. Time to adjust. Time to stop thinking and start reacting. Are you ready to stake your Super Bowl dreams on a kid who was playing Saturdays 6 months ago? Or would you rather unleash a certified predator, a seasoned assassin, who's hunted quarterbacks on the biggest stages and lived to tell about it? This isn't just about wins. This is about legacy. Patrick Mahomes is already carving a path to Canton. Andy Reid is solidifying his name among the greatest to ever do it. The dynasties aren't born on accident. They're built when front offices say, great isn't enough, we're aiming for unbeatable. That's the mentality Kansas City needs right now, because standing pat, that's not strategy. That's how empires fall. And don't think for a second the locker room wouldn't rally around a move like this. You bring in a legend like Von Miller, that sends a message. We're all in. That's what competitors want to see. That's what fans want to feel. This isn't about squeaking into the postseason. This is about planting the flag as the most feared team in football for the third time in 5 years. So let's be clear, Von Miller to the Chiefs isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You want to remain on the throne? You make the move. You want to remind the league that the kingdom still rules? You bring in the king of the pass rush before someone else does. Now, I hear some of you still saying, we've got Mahomes, we've got Kelsey, we've got Spags and Big Red, we're fine. Respectfully, you're missing the point. Yes, Mahomes doesn't sack quarterbacks, Kelsey doesn't set the edge, and Spagnuolo can't dial up heat if his front four can't win. This game is still about dominating the line of scrimmage. It's about imposing your will. If Kansas City walks into this season thinking they can finesse their way to another title without fortifying that D-line, they're flirting with fate. Let's not forget what happened last year. They got bullied. Yeah, I said it. Bullied in the biggest moments by the biggest teams. That defensive front didn't just bend, it broke. They allowed teams to linger, let quarterbacks settle. And once a QB gets comfortable, he starts carving you up like Thanksgiving dinner. You can have elite corners and lightning fast linebackers, but if you're not burying the quarterback, it means nothing. This isn't just about talent. It's about culture. You bring in a guy who stared down Brady, Newton, and some of the greatest lines in NFL history and came out a champion. And you inject that warrior mentality into every meeting, every rep, every snap. You give your young studs a walking blueprint for what it takes to reach the mountaintop and stay there. Because here's the truth. Staying on top is harder than getting there. And let's not ignore the storm brewing in the AFC West. Everyone's watching Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. But within the division, the Chargers finally got a coach who preaches defense. And the Broncos? Don't sleep. Sean Payton's got that glint in his eye like he's ready to flip the script. If Kansas City thinks they can just show up and dominate, think again. That crown is under siege. And the only way to keep your boot on the neck of this league? Stack the arsenal, bring in Von Miller, and remind the NFL who runs the kingdom. You don't just win by hoping the odds play in your favor. You stack the deck again and again and again. And stacking it means bringing in players who elevate your floor and your ceiling. That's Von Miller. No, he might not give you 15 sacks anymore, but you know what he will give you? Clutch sacks, drive killers, game shifters. It's 3rd and 8. The stadium is deafening. The season's on the line, and you need someone to step up. Von's your guy. That's who he's always been. Pair him with Chris Jones, nightmare fuel for offensive coordinators. Now defenses face a lose-lose scenario. Double Von, Jones eats. Double Jones, Von eats. Slide protection, someone's coming untouched. And that's the kind of pressure that destroys offenses in December and January. But let's zoom out. This isn't just about one player. It's about philosophy, mindset. How do you approach a season when you're already at the summit? Do you coast or do you double down? Do you sharpen every weapon, patch every flaw? Even the subtle ones only insiders notice. That's the decision in front of Kansas City's front office right now. Because believe this, the rest of the league is watching. They smell opportunity. And if the Chiefs don't make a move, that's blood in the water. And don't tell me this move goes against the Chiefs' way. The Chiefs' way is about winning. It's about adaptation. It's about doing whatever it takes to defend the crown. If the old model says trust the youth, but the current reality screams get a vet, then you evolve. That's how dynasties endure. They don't stay the same. They evolve. Let's also keep it real. Von's last stretch was quiet. Injuries, uncertainty in Buffalo. He looked human, but don't confuse quiet with done. He's still a predator. He's still hungry. And you drop him into Kansas City's championship culture with that fire, that standard, that relentless pursuit of rings. He's coming back with vengeance. He's coming for blood. And here's the wild card, the narrative. Von Miller already got 1 ring with the Broncos, then another with the Rams. Now imagine he joins the Chiefs and snatches a 3rd ring with a 3rd team. You know what that does to his legacy? It launches it, it cements it, it turns him from great to immortal. Only one man in NFL history has done it. Von would be joining a one-man club and etching his name in stone. That's Hall of Fame talk. And you better believe Von hears that drumbeat. He wants it. Yes, this move benefits Von, but even more, it elevates the Chiefs. Because this isn't just a championship window, this is a historic window. And you don't sit back during a historic window. You act, you strike, you move first before anyone else does. And don't give me the no room excuse. Teams carry specialty pass rushers all the time. They're like heat-seeking missiles on 3rd downs, in the red zone, in OT. You don't need Von playing 60 snaps. You need 20 lethal ones, 20 chances to blow up a drive, 20 moments to pin his ears back and unleash chaos. And if you've ever watched playoff football, you know, one of those plays can flip a game, can rewrite a season, can seal a legacy. Let's land the plane. Every dynasty reaches a crossroads, a moment where one decision determines whether the run continues or collapses. Kansas City is at that moment now. They've got the quarterback, they've got the core. What they need is reinforcement in the trenches. They need a spark. They need a closer. They need Von Miller. The clock is ticking. The league is circling. The war is coming. So I'll ask you straight, Chiefs Kingdom, are you going to sit back and hope the rookies are ready in time, or are you going to bring in a certified legend and put the rest of the NFL on high alert? Because here's the truth. You don't chase greatness. You build it. One bold, strategic move at a time. If you've been riding with this breakdown and you bleed red and gold, smash that like button right now. Drop a W in the comments if you believe the dynasty can roll on, or an L if you think the window is closing. Subscribe not just for takes, but because this is where real football lives. This is for the fans who eat, sleep, and breathe Chiefs football. You with us? Then hit that button and stay locked in. Thank you guys. See you next video.